Hello everyone and welcome to today's video, and today we're going to be having our first part of our 3-part May the 4th Be With You special episodes. We started this last year and we are going to continue this from now on, except this year is very different and a little more special because we are in the Mandalorian May celebration. So for this year we have the Mandalorian bracket, we have 8 minifigs on each side of the bracket, all coming together to decide out of these which is the best Mandalorian minifigure. I picked some of the more well-known ones like the Mandalorian, Gar Saxon, Jango Fett, and then some of the ones that I think are still nice, like some of the Mandalorian Warriors, and I did throw in the 2 Mandalorian Super Commandos that came out in January to see how far they would get, and you'll be surprised how far they do get. But unlike last year where I just made the bracket and then kind of used my opinion because I was just starting out, only in my 3rd month of the YouTube channel, this year I made posts ahead of time and then deleted them, so if you remember, you already know who wins. But we're going to start off with round 1 here. First match is Jango Fett versus Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian. This is the non-UCS version of Jango Fett, and then the version of the Mandalorian that's been in some of the recent sets, but not the new one from the movie. So there will be 3 seconds until the winner is revealed, so go ahead and take your 3 seconds to see who you think is going to win. And the winner is, of course, Jango Fett, and I say of course because I feel like even though people see that this one wasn't the UCS set, it still is a very nice version of any sort of Mandalorian. Even though Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, was very nice, I voted for that one. On my own other channel, I voted for that one, but I feel like the Jango Fett just looks cool and has a lot more aura, I guess you could say. But next matchup here is Paz Vizsla versus Cobb Vanth. This is a close one. I feel like it was more close. I personally like Paz Vizsla here. If you watch my minifigure of the week about him, which should be out already, you'll see how I talk about him. But the Cobb Vanth was very nice, so go ahead and take your 3 seconds to see who you think's gonna win. And the winner is Paz Vizsla, not by a large margin because there weren't that many votes, but like I said, this is the first year I've done it this way, so not really expecting that. But I do think that Paz Vizsla does deserve the win here. The only thing is, if Paz Vizsla had arm printing, it would be really nice, but I feel like he doesn't really need it because of the extra chest plate and everything. But moving on here, our next on this side of the bracket is Bo-Katan Kryze versus Boba Fett. Both of these are very nice, except I feel like the Bo-Katan, we didn't really get too much appreciation for her, and I feel like nowadays Mandalorians are starting to get more arm printing in the more expensive sets, not in battle packs, but Din Djarin himself has arm printing in all the new Mando and Grogu movie sets, and Bo-Katan really missed out on that. But go ahead and take your 3 seconds to see who you think's gonna win. And the winner is Boba Fett by a larger margin. I do think he deserved the win. It's a very nice and detailed minifig, and this is the one from the Desert Skiff, so that one was a lot nicer compared to previous Boba Fett's and the one from the show, so it's definitely the unique and classic one. And then next up here we have the Mandalorian Warrior versus Mandalorian Warrior. Both of these were in battle packs. The orange and gray one was from a battle pack back from season 1 of The Mandalorian, and then the blue one is from season 3. So definitely one that I would just throw in there because I think both of these are some nice details of unnamed Mandalorians. So go ahead and see who you think's gonna win. And the blue Mandalorian Warrior does win this one, and I think that one is better detailed and everything. I feel like the old versions in the battle pack, they were okay, they just weren't too good, and the design of this Mandalorian Warrior I feel like is a lot nicer and everything. But as far as the left side of the bracket goes, that is it for that. So our next matchup here is the Armorer versus Gar Saxon. And I feel like some people may feel like that putting Gar Saxon in here was unfair, but I feel like if he does go on, he'll face some pretty worthy people, but go ahead and take your 3 seconds to see who will win. And the winner is Gar Saxon. He got all the votes. The armor did not get any, which, I mean, I understand. Gar Saxon is probably known as one of the best Mandalorian minifigures LEGO has ever made. And I feel like I'm saying with the other ones, if he had arm printing, it would just be like complete win automatically. Why would you even make this poll? But I do think that the armor is still a nice minifigure. I unfortunately don't have either of these, but I feel like they both are nice, and I will try and get my hands on them one day. Next up here, we have the new Mandalorian Super Commando, the male version, and Sabine Wren from the Ahsoka show, and these two I kind of threw in just to see who could make it or who could get farther, so go ahead and take your 3 seconds to see who you think's going to win. And the winner is the Mandalorian Super Commando. I feel like some people may not like that, but I personally think he deserved the win here. I like the way this one looks. This one. I don't like the way the female one looks because of the whole visor thing. Just, if you want to know more, watch my minifigure of the week on this one. Watch my review on the set. See all that stuff. But this one gets the win, and I do think it rightfully deserves it. And then next up here we have two of the Mandalorian warriors from that battle pack mentioned earlier. These two I feel like were the most poorly designed ones just because they kind of looked messy and thrown together. But go ahead and take your 3 seconds to see who you think's going to win. And the winner here is the green and blue Mandalorian, and out of these two, again, I feel like this one is the more like nicely designed. I kind of remember seeing a style of this one from the show, but the other one in here kind of looks like somebody spilled purple paint on the helmet, so I don't really like that one. But like I said, these are just ones that I feel like aren't as well known that I threw in here, so that way they would get a little bit of time in the spotlight. And then last up here on this side of the bracket, we have the other Mandalorian warrior from the most recent Mandalorian battle pack from the show, and the female Mandalorian Super Commando. Both of these I feel like are very nice and detailed, except for the helmet on the Mandalorian Super Commando. I don't like that, so my pick here is the blue Mandalorian warrior. But go ahead and take your 3 seconds. And the winner is, unfortunately, the Mandalorian Super Commando. I guess even though people didn't really like that one, they think it's better than the Mandalorian Night Owl, so that one deserves the winner. But here is the bracket at the end of round 1. We have Jango Fett versus Paz Vizsla, Boba Fett versus the Mandalorian Warrior, Gar Saxon versus the Mandalorian Super Commando, and then a Mandalorian Warrior versus the other Mandalorian Super Commando. So ironically, both the Super Commandos advanced into round 2, so make sure you check out the part 2 video to see who will advance to round 3. I hope you have enjoyed it so far. If you are watching this when it just came out, the other episode should release in about a half hour, so make sure you tune in for that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope to see you in part 2.